Hello and welcome to Southwest Camper Hire. This is our customer induction video for our Roller Team 746 Attenborough. Starting off on the driver's side of the vehicle, we need to point out, first unusual thing you find is that your handbrake is on the wrong side, along with the up and down for the driver's seat. To the left of this, on the outside, we have the boiler exhaust pipe. Nothing to worry about here, however, there is a micro switch inside this window, so if you have the window open and the boiler running on gas, it will stop the boiler operating. Down below, we have the wastewater handle. This will discharge wastewater onto the ground. If you pull the handle out, the water will come out. If you push the handle in, the water will stay in. It's usually supplied to you with the handle in the out position. Here we have the water filler. You might need to push the hose fully inside the vehicle to fill the 100 litre onboard water tank. To the left, we have the toilet cassette. Inside, if you lift the blue handle, you can slide the unit out towards you. This can then be carried or wheeled to the chemical toilet disposal point. Note that if you press the blue button, then it will allow air into the tank, which will enable the tank to drain more easily. You empty all of your waste out of that spout simply by taking off the blue cap. Once everything's out, please rinse it by pouring water back into that spout, and then it's either clean and empty, ready for returning to us, or ready to accept a toilet chemical, which you will find inside this pot. Little blue sachet, just simply drop it down inside the tank along with a little bit of water, and then it's ready to reuse. Don't let the blue tablets get wet before they're ready for use, as they'll dissolve in water. At the rear of the van we have the rear locker. This is opened like so. Just to give you a bit of an idea of the space offered inside. And to close it up, simply twist, and then it can be locked by pushing it flush to the van. So it's flush to the van, it's locked. If it's sticking out like so, it's unlocked. This is quite a long van, so please make sure you overcompensate things when you're passing them and turning. There is a pivot point around that wheel there, which means that the overhang will swing into obstacles. So make sure you've gone fully past the gate post with the corner before you start to turn. Up above the bike rack we have the reversing cameras. They don't see everything, so please be careful when you're backing up. On this side of the van we have the other half of the rear locker, a couple of fridge vents and a 240 volt power input. If you lift the lid, the socket for the cable that's located in the garage pushes in here by lifting its lid. Push the lid right inside and you can make your connection. To break the connection again, all you do is press the lever down on the left and you can pull the socket out. But if you don't have 240 volt cable to the van, you won't be able to use the 240 volt appliances or the sockets on board. Here we have the gas locker. Normally there are two 6 kilo propane tanks in here and they are normally supplied to you off. Please leave them off for travel. Turn it on top of the cylinder, and if you turn the tap down like so, then it should be ready for use inside the vehicle. And then we have the diesel filler. The top one is for diesel, and that's unlocked by the ignition key, and the bottom one is for AdBlue should you get an AdBlue warning. It's a fuel additive that you can buy in most petrol stations. Here is the bonnet pull. Release catch underneath. To the far left is the screen wash in blue, coolant and brake fluid, oil filler and dipstick. If you need to jump start the vehicle, the negative goes on there and the positive goes down here. Inside the van, up and down on the seat and towing equipment underneath the seat. These seats swivel. If you pull this lever, it will swivel the seat to face the inside. Please make sure it's locked in the forward-facing position for travel. On the dashboard, we have a traction button if you get stuck, a hill descent mode, and a central locking button. A couple of charging points down here, USB and 12 volt DC. These only work when the ignition is on. Air conditioning functions. And up the top we have somewhere for you to stash your mobile phone. This is a clipboard. Pull it. If you squeeze the top, you get a clipboard. Pull the lever and the jaws open to put your phone on. And if you're not using it, just push it back down onto the dashboard like so. 6-speed box. Pull up the collar for reverse and that will put your reversing camera on. Cruise control if you turn it up, or speed limiter if you turn it down. Otherwise, most of your controls are fairly car-like. These mats here in silver fit onto the inside of your windscreen as blinds. And then up the top here, we have your vehicle height, width and length. Please look out for overhead objects. This is a quick introduction to your head unit. Pressing the home button at the top will give you your menu options, navigation, FM, DAB and camera options. This is the view afforded to you by the reversing camera. So as you can see, it doesn't see the corners. So please be careful when reversing. And this is the view afforded to you by the long range camera. When you hit reverse, you'll see the camera comes on automatically. When you come out of reverse, it'll switch back to whatever was on before. Please note that if you're in this mode, you won't get audio. So it's basically audio or long range camera. Moving into the vehicle, immediately in front of us is the front dinette with seating for 4 around the table. To the left there's a chest of drawers and the ladder there going to the overcab bed. The safety net on that bed, loads of overhead lockers, plenty of storage space up here, and looking back down the van we've got the galley kitchen on the right and washroom on the left. Going past the wardrobe into the U-shaped rear lounge area. Tons of storage in here as well. There's even storage underneath the seats if you require it. So going back to the front, please make sure if you're using this bed that the ladder's securely clipped on, and that if you've got small children up there, that you use the safety net. Please note the safety net does not go all the way up to the ceiling. You have storage, two drawers. This is your front dinette. Down under this edge of the seat, there's a 240 volt socket and a USB charger point. Some underfloor storage. Above the door, we have the control panel for the van. This button here turns everything off or back on again. This button tells us the engine battery level in volts and percent, and the leisure battery level in volts and percent. The fresh water level, that goes up and down in thirds, and the wastewater level, which again goes up and down in thirds. Going back to fresh water there. Top left, we have the pump, which pumps water to the sink and the toilet. So if you need to get water out of a tap or flush the loo, you need to have that on, but I turn it off when I'm not in the van. There's the outside light, and the master for the internal lights is here. This is the current temperature inside the vehicle. And if you're hooked up to mains, you'll get a little orange tail lighting up here just to confirm that your 240 volt is working. Flynet on the side door. light switches down here. Some of the units have lighting underneath. Just look for a little blue light. It's touch sensitive. And up underneath here you have another switch and another 240 volt socket. Inventory items are kept above the kitchen. And also in the two drawers down here. You have a 3-burner self-lighting gas hob. No matches needed. And here's your sink with a collapsible washing up bowl. Down below you have an oven and a grill. And down below that, fire extinguisher and emergency gas tabs. On the left you have a consumer unit which contains your trip switches. On the very far left there's a test point. Pressing the button in there would indicate that you've got mains connected successfully to the vehicle. If it trips off, if it doesn't trip off, it's not connected successfully. This is your fridge. You have a small freezer compartment up the top. The fridge is a 3-way fridge and can run on the vehicle battery, electricity or gas. Wake it up like so. This symbol tells us that it would be working on mains power. If you don't have mains power connected, it will start flashing at you like so and beeping. You can run it on gas power by pressing this button, and you can also run it on the vehicle battery, which is this one here. That will only operate when the vehicle is driving. So when you stop driving, it will beep at you for 20 seconds just to remind you to do something about your fridge. The front dinette can be turned into a small bed by bending the leg. Press the button and you can take the table off the wall and reaffix it lower down. Then simply you lay some extra cushions on top of the tabletop to make your bed. Moving towards the back of the vehicle, we've got the wardrobe. Table inside there that can be used inside or outside the vehicle. Up at the very top, the white box is the TV booster, and if the red light is on, the TV booster is working. And down here, you don't need to worry about this. This is an iNet box for if you wish to connect your boiler to talk to your phone. Into the rear lounge or rear sleeping area. If you take this corner out, you can create 2 single beds down the side of the van. Or if you pull the center section, the slats will enable you to turn this entire area into a low-level bed. There's storage underneath the seat cushions. On your side windows you have these blinds. Squeeze them together to make them go up and down. And then up above you have mosquito nets on all the windows also. Some power sockets here and light switches. This is your boiler. Press the dial to wake it up. The first flashing icon is central heating. The second icon is hot water. And the third icon is what you run your boiler on. Okay, so for example that might be electricity or gas. If you get stuck, press the back button like so, and then start again. Navigate to the icon you want, press the dial. In this case, it's telling us we're running the boiler on 2 elements of electricity, or 1 if you wish, or you can run it on gas. So run it on gas if you haven't got a hookup, and run it on EL2 if you have got a hookup. If you want to run it on a mix, you have to have both electricity and gas enabled. So once we've set what we're going to run it on, you can then navigate to either putting your water or your central heating on. So to turn on your central heating, simply dial it up to the required temperature. Here we're going to set it at 27 degrees, press the button and wait for it to do its thing. If it starts blinking above the line here, then it's starting to heat up. If it stops blinking above the line, then it's reached its temperature. And when you're not using it, please just dial it down to off. Let's say now that you'd like your hot water on. Your options here are Eco, Hot and Boost. We'd recommend Hot, which will give you 60-degree hot water, 10 litres at a time, in about 20 minutes. When that icon stops blinking, it's reached full temperature. On this side of the panel, there's usually a little plug symbol if you're hooked up to mains, which will just verify that your mains is working. So occasionally we get these error messages. Supetimes they're caused by firing up the boiler before we're connected to mains or gas. In this case, we are supposed to be running on electricity, but the plug symbol isn't illuminated here. So what you need to do is just correct the problem before you go and reset the boiler. And to reset the boiler, once you've switched the mains on, for example, you'd need to navigate down to where the warning triangle is shown here and double click on it. Double clicking on it will get rid of the error. Moving back down the vehicle to the washroom. Inside here we have the toilet, which has a swivel bowl. Below the bowl there is a grey lever. You need to open this grey lever by sliding it to the right before you use the toilet. This means that any waste in the bowl goes straight into the tank below, you know, the one we talked about earlier, the cassette that pulls out the side of the vehicle, and doesn't remain in the bowl itself. To flush it, making sure you've got the pump turned on the roller team panel over the door, you need to press this button and this will flush the bowl out for you. Once you've done that, return the grey lever to the left hand side, otherwise the van will smell and you won't be able to get the tank out. And for the shower, simply pull that tap and the hose attaches up the top for your shower. In the rear cabin we have a carbon monoxide detector here, and immediately next to it is a smoke detector. If either of these go off, open all windows, evacuate everyone from the van and inform us straight away. You have overhead vents which are opened like so. Please make sure they're shut and locked before you travel. You also have blinds and mosquito nets up here. Thank you for watching. Everything you've seen is contained in a manual on board. In the case of any difficulty, please contact us as shown.